I'm Bill Bishop. I'm with the Big Idea Company, and I'm here today talking to Rick Scruggs, who's the founder and CEO of Financial Designs Business Advisors. And Rick, you just wrote a new book. Can you tell us about your new book?
Bill, good afternoon. Absolutely. Looking forward to our time. So we just recently published What's Wrong with My Thinking, how abundance thinking can create more cash flow in the time to enjoy it. My thought behind the book was to give private and family business owners a reference manual, sort of a how-to to think about their business, whether they're in the space of continuity, succession, transition, or exit. And so it covers all of that information in a very easy to read, plenty of space to take notes and capture your thoughts.
Yeah, okay. Well, that sounds very useful. So tell us about the title. What's wrong with my thinking? What does that mean? Why did you make that the title?
Well, we all know that of all the assets that we have as a human being, the one that's free is our mind. And too often we put value on other things, a building, a house, a car, our business, and yet it's our mind and its capacity to take an idea, put it on the rotisserie, let it slowly drip and kind of base so that we can bring out the best knowledge, the best information, and apply it to our lives, our families, and our businesses.
So when it comes to being a private business owner and thinking about your succession plan for moving beyond your business, what's typically wrong with the person's thinking about that? What would be the biggest?
Well, what we discovered, Bill, is that advisors, attorneys, CPAs, all the people that a private or family business owner relies upon, we have made a mistake because we've delivered our information, our thoughts and ideas in silos. And as you know, silos have no windows. So our challenge is to ask the owner or owners, would you like to have a team that would be working on your behalf to bring this collaboration together? Because that's the best way you succeed, is through collaboration and taking time to think.
Okay, so just to summarize that then, one of the problems with the thinking around this sort of thing is that everyone that's helping these business owners are in a silo. They're all in separate categories, and they don't always know what the other person's doing. So they're trying to help them, but there's nobody pulling it all together, right?
Correct.
So that's where you come in. That's what your company does, right? That's your
right.
Your
We
job.
get hired as a quarterback for a process that can take, sometimes it can be done in 90 days, but many of our engagements with our clients are multi-year, 10, 20, 30 years of working with them and their teams, their families, their key advisors to get the best possible outcome. There is no perfect plan, Bill. Every plan has its Achilles heel. The challenge is, are we aware of what that Achilles heel is so that we can not get caught by surprise?
Yeah, and I would think that if all your advisors are in a separate silo, that Achilles heel might not be identified, right? And before it's too late.
And it happens constantly. A wonderful author, Nassim Taleb, wrote a book called Black Swans. Just because you've never seen a black swan doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And he defines a black swan as that highly improbable event that's not supposed to happen, but if it does, it's not a very good outcome.
Right.
So what we've tried to do is incorporate ideas and concepts from wonderful people like Nancy Klein, who wrote a book, Time to Think, Six Thinking Hats by Edward de Bono. And of course, Nassim Taleb has written numerous books, yourself included, with Dancing with Robots recently.
So tell me more about time to think. What do you mean by time to think?
Okay, so what we do, Bill, is we create both the space, an environment where an individual or key people or a family member can sit and have no interruptions, no phone calls, no rebuttal, no feedback, but where we ask a series of questions over a 70-minute session that they can take time to think about their answers. And the whole idea is to go one level to the next level, to go deep. A friend of mine, George Pransky, used to say, if you're going to bother to have a conversation, you might as well go deep.
So one thing that, wrong with people's thinking is they're not actually taking time to think, deeply about what's going on. They're thinking maybe at a superficial level, but not
Well,
at
it's just, yeah, we've all been brought up that we used to believe that multitasking was an asset and a really superior ability. But all the research shows multitasking is a benefit to nobody. You're less productive, you have more interruptions, and you really don't capture your best thinking. So again, these time to think sessions are designed to give a non-interrupted space and time where that person can freely discuss what they want. It's a confidential conversation, and it just works.
Yeah, that's good. So so the other thing is your coaching program is called Abundant Business Coaching, right?
Yes.
So this idea of abundance is also an issue, right? Because elaborate on this, but what's wrong with a lot of thinking, it's not abundance, right? It's scarcity thinking.
Right. Absolutely. It's there's the scarcity trap. And we can easily fall into it the minute we start thinking about what we haven't accomplished, what didn't go right, who was left on first base, etc. Versus when you approach things with abundance, you recognize it's not about perfection, it's about visible progress in what you're trying to accomplish.
So helping instill a sense of abundance in the thinking that people are doing is important part of your process, right? You're right about it.
Absolutely. When somebody no longer believes that they have contributions to make or that there's more in the future than in the past, then we're kind of done. And our clients are people who want to take, they're ambitious entrepreneurs and business owners who want to take massive action to create a more abundant future and then have the time to enjoy it. Because what's the point of having the financial capital achievement and then you don't have your health or you don't have the time to enjoy it?
So tell us a little more about massive action. That sounds interesting. What do you mean by that?
Well, we all have a list probably somewhere in our office or at home of things that we want to get done. What we've discovered is that trying to do 10 things really well is far more ineffective than choosing that one thing that we can then bring all of our resources to bear on it and take massive action, because then you're going to have an opportunity for a 10x result. And that's what our clients are looking for. They just don't want 5 or 10%. They're looking for a 10x change. That's not always about sales or profits, but it's about organizational growth. It's about communication. It's about making a difference in the time that you have on this short visit on the blue planet.
So tell me about why 10x thinking is the way to go, as opposed to maybe not that, right? So maybe sort of incremental thinking or 2 times thinking even. Why is that good?
Well, I think a colleague of both yours and mine, Dan Sullivan, wrote a book called 10x is easier than 2x. And that sounds counterintuitive. The reality is people want to achieve success in their lives, however they define that. And so going for the real stretch, which I define as 10x, just has more opportunity to make an impact, not only in the quality of your own life, but in the quality of life of the people that matter most to you.
Well, that's fantastic. So this book that you've written, show us the book again. Let's have a look at the book cover. There you go. Okay, so this is based on your experience, right? How long you've been doing this? Like, tell us about that. Tell us about your experience that led up to the book.
So I had my entrepreneurial seizure about 45 years ago. And part of it came about when I came to realize how my life had been impacted by the early death of my father, and the steps that enabled my mother to continue to maintain her independence and dignity. And so it just naturally occurred to me that people would want to sit down and have a conversation and talk about what mattered most, what did they want to see happen, and what did they care about. Well, people do. It's just that we create all sorts of barriers that prevent people from getting in front of us to have these crucial conversations. That's another aspect. Crucial conversations where the stakes are high, it's emotionally charged, and there can sometimes be opposing views.
Yeah, yeah. So much of this is such good advice. So how many clients have you helped with this kind of thing over the years?
We have impacted over 100 private and family business owners, both from selling to inside employees, transferring ownership to their own family members, creating employee stock ownership plans, which is a very unique process in the United States for creating capitalists. As I've always said, if you're going to have a capitalist system, you better make sure the system excites people about the benefits. There's about 10 million private and family businesses in the United States today. Almost 80% of those are owned by baby boomers who are 55 and over. And most of them will not have a successful transition, much less maybe a successful exit into the retirement years. Because for the first time in Western civilization, people might enjoy a 30-year longevity bonus. That's independent of whether I've got my mental faculties, though, and physical mobility. So there's no guarantees.
Yeah, yeah. But you're really helping them set it up so they have the best chance to really enjoy their, I guess, retirement, if you want to call it that.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. Next chapter.
Right. Next chapter. I think this collaboration, though, is crucial. I mean, we're not CPAs, we're not attorneys, we're not bankers. However, we act as that catalyst, again, to help people bring them together, communicate. Anything you've ever read about communication says that's one of the #1 faults, because the acronym is NETMA. Nobody ever tells me anything. And that's the last thing that a private or family business owner, that's just going to destroy any business.
Right, right. Okay, great. So so in addition to writing the book and you're doing your coaching and being the financial advisors as well to your clients, you also are available to do speaking, right? You'll go out and speak in groups and so on. Just tell us about what that would look like.
So normally, prior to COVID, we would travel all over the country to talk to different organizations and business owners. In COVID, we went to Zoom, and today we do both. Last week, I was in Atlanta and Charlotte, North Carolina, to talk with private and family businesses about. One of them involved a 100-year-old family business that had recently lost 2 shareholders, to a business that was started 50 years ago and is getting ready to make that transition to the 3rd generation.
Excellent. So, so 2 things then. They can get the book on Amazon, right? If they want to.
Correct.
There's a link below the video here they can click on.
Yes.
Do that. And also, if a business owner is interested in a time to think session, they can schedule that, right?
That is correct.
Yeah. Tell us a little more about the time to think session.
Yeah. So time to think was designed as a first step to discover if there was good chemistry between our firm, Financial Designs Business Advisors, and you, a business owner. So there is no obligation and there's no cost for that session. It's designed that at the end of it, you'll have a very good idea whether you felt that was time well spent. We've really never had anybody say, hey, this didn't make any impact for me, but maybe it's not the right time. So we're completely flexible, and it's just part of our process.
That's really good. Okay, well, Rick, thanks for telling us all about your new book. Congratulations. It's always a great
Thank you, Bill.
to get a book done. And if anyone has any questions or wants to talk to you about it, then all the information is there available. And look forward to learning more about time to think and making my thinking better and abundance and massive action and all the rest. So thanks a lot, Rick.
Bill, it was a pleasure. Thank you.